how important do you think having your dad in your household, given what you know now, how important do you think that is to have a black man in the household?
The greatest gift my father ever gave us was coming home.
Damn, that's deep.
Because my mother didn't make it easy.
Tell us the truth!
All right, what's good, YouTube? It's your man, Book of AlphaRonomy, a.k.a. Dr. B.O.A. Yep, I got time today. Men have this unspoken of pressure to maintain a household, even when the woman is combative, aggressive, adversarial, when she's not cooperative, when she does her own thing, when she believes that she's an individual as opposed to part of a unit. And as a man, you're expected by this particular society to go along and get along, to go along to get along. And the reality is your children will never respect you for that. They'll love you because you're their dad, but they won't respect you. Why? Because especially your sons, because deep down inside, as they start to mature, they start to realize the things they wouldn't put up with. And when they see you put up with those things, they realize that their dad is a simp. Damon Wayans recently had a phenomenal interview with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay podcast, and he covered a lot of bases. And on this particular episode, we're going to cover what he said about his dad and how his dad was an amazing dad, but a bona fide simp when it came to dealing with his mom. Let's take a listen to this video, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on a real tip.
How important do you think having your dad in your household, given what you know now, how important do you think that is to have a black man in the household?
The greatest gift my father ever gave us was coming home.
Damn, that's deep.
Because my mother didn't make it easy. He was a dumb MFer and all kind of stuff. But he did, she wanted stuff in life. Like new underwear, like stuff she couldn't just, little stuff, makeup and get her hair, and couldn't do it. But he came home, humble, Sometimes he had to tell her there ain't no food. What? Mr. Provider, you ain't got no food. And you trying to tell me what to do? Yeah, so, but that was the gift. That's like, you come home.
When you can think back and remember the time when you hoped your dad would stand up to your mom, you're admitting that your dad had every right to respond to your mom in an aggressive manner, probably put hands on her, or just leave. Because no man should have to deal with a woman who is not cooperative, who is not collaborative, at least. Y'all be in situations dealing with women who are adversarial at best and total enemies of yours at worst. That's what happens the majority of the time when you take on a woman who has another man's children already. That woman cannot go along with what you're putting out there because her first responsibility is to the children that she already has by another man or other men. She can never jump on board with what you have going on because she has previous responsibilities and also previous things she's dedicated to. That nothing's going to change that. And the thing is, you wouldn't want a woman who would abandon her children for you, right? No, you wouldn't. So I want y'all to understand something. When you put yourself in these situations, dog, as a man, you got to have a line that you're not willing to cross for a broad. You understand? There has to be a line where you say, okay, before I cross this line, I'll just dead the whole situation. I'll just let you go ahead and be a single mom if that's what I got to do, because it doesn't make you more of a man to stay and take a woman's shit. It makes you less of a man. If you can't put your foot down in an aggressive way, in an effective way, then you got to just bounce. You're with the wrong woman. Like as men, we got to stop believing that if you make a mistake and you end up with the wrong woman, that you got to stay there. No, you don't. If you make a mistake, you don't make that mistake extend the entirety of your life because I should just stay here and be here. The woman don't ever have to try to get along. She don't ever have to do nothing. She ain't got to listen to me. I got to stay here and be responsible. You can only be responsible for a household if the woman understands that it's your responsibility and she dedicates herself to the process of your progress as it comes to leading that household and building that household and establishing that household. And what you hear Damon Wayans saying is that the greatest thing his dad ever did was put up with his mama shit and come home anyway. You get cursed out by a woman and all of that, dog. Let me tell you something, bro. I'm not going to sit and tell you that a woman never cussed me out, but a woman who did, she wasn't nothing to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like if you align yourself, man, with a ratchet woman, or a ghetto chick, or just a woman who has some particular mental issues where she can't control herself and all of that, man, you better not ever let a woman like that be in any serious position in your life. You know what I'm saying? And really, after a while, man, I don't understand why you would even smash her. Like, why would you even be intimate with her? But you certainly cannot find yourself in a situation with a disrespectful woman where you tied in with her, and you're emotionally attached to her, and you try to create a family with her and all of that, because a woman believes that she's supposed to be that way, and as a man, you're just supposed to accept that. And I'm going to tell you something. She's correct. If you're a man and you meet a woman who has issues, she can't control her temper, she can't control her mouth, she uses profanity, she lashes out, she gets physical, and you find yourself in a committed relationship with that broad, or you find yourself, even worse, legally married to her, you're a fool. Because you saw the signs before you even put yourself in that situation. I'm telling you, the moment that a woman believes you won't drop her, the true her comes out. And you got to be prepared as a man to cut a woman loose instantaneously when you realize that she is not the type of woman that you should have around you. It don't matter how fine she is. It don't matter how much you enjoy being intimate with her. It doesn't matter none of those things matter, because the bottom line is she approaching your manhood in a negative manner, in attack mode? Is she embracing your manhood and masculinity and allowing her femininity to mesh with it? Or is she an energy vampire who is simply trying to drain everything masculine in you? Because let me tell you something. I guarantee his mama will probably cheating on his dad. Because I'm going to tell you, man, the moment you let a woman treat you like this, her desire for you goes away. You understand? And you can look and say, man, well, man, she was still having those kids. Well, here's the thing. At some point, if you're in a house with a woman, y'all are going to be intimate at some point. Married guys never say, man, I never have sex with my woman. They say it changes when you marry her. You know why it changes when you marry her? Because when you legally marry a woman, it gives her power. And you realize at that very moment you say, I do, you're stuck. You can't just walk away anymore. You're stuck trying to make it work, even sometimes when you know it won't work, because you've allowed yourself to be trapped into a legally binding situation when it comes to a woman. Man, I'm not finna get in no legally binding situation with no woman. If it ain't business and we ain't doing no business, man, I'm not finna get into no personal, legally binding situation with a woman, dog. I'm not finna do that. Because as a man, you got to understand when it's time to flee, you need to be able to go ahead and be free. And if you can't, then you're gonna end up like Damon Wayans' dad, where even his sons are looking at it, say, man, why don't you respond, man? Why don't you do something? Why you letting a woman talk to you like this? As a man, dog, you have to stand up for yourself. It's no one else's job to stand up for you. And so, yes, we've all at some point, had women who had at the very least aggressive mouths. And you gotta do what you gotta do, man. You gotta nip that stuff in the bud, dog. You gotta be ready to cut a woman off. You gotta be ready to do it. And if you're not, you're gonna find yourself in these types of situations where you're tied to a woman who means you no good. And instead of building with you, all she becomes is more responsibility for you. It's the same thing as dealing with a broke broad. Man, if you out here and you getting paper, man, you a fool to deal with a broke broad, dog. Because all she gonna see you as is the bag. Even if she likes you, she still is going to believe that should somehow equate to her getting in your pocket. You know what I mean? And listen, even if a woman has her own money, you may do something nice for her. I'm not talking about doing something nice for a woman. I'm talking about a woman feeling like you should be responsible for her life. Man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I've had situations in my life, dog, where I met a woman and it just didn't last long. It didn't even have a chance to go nowhere. Because she was used to being provided for her, used to having somebody breaking bread with her and all that. And I just ain't gonna do it. It ain't in me, dog. You know what I mean? A woman got to earn the position of wife in my life. You understand? And she earns that by showing her dedication to the position, by showing that she's dedicated to the position before she even get in it, by pursuing the position. And that's the problem with a lot of y'all. You put a woman in the position that she didn't even pursue. Let me tell y'all something right now, because ain't nobody else going to tell you this. If you have a woman in a position that she didn't pursue, she didn't want the position. You just put her in it. And nobody fights to maintain something they never even wanted in the first place. And that's how you end up in a situation like Damon Wayans' dad, where You got this pressure on you, man, to hold this family together, man, while the woman is showing you every day that she hates your presence. Anytime a woman is disrespectful to you, man, she hates your very presence. She looks at you with disgust and disdain, man. And I just want to know why you feel like you need to be in that situation. So this is what I'm here for, man. If you're going through this and you need to find your way out of it, the consultation link will be in the description. And I'll drop it in the first comment for y'all, man, because a lot of y'all are in these situations where you being so disrespected by a woman, man, and you feel so small that you don't even feel like you big enough or strong enough or large enough to even get out of the situation. You feel stuck, man. You feel stuck because the web of deceit and web of spiritual negative energy that she's woven has you stuck like a fly in a spider web, dog. And I want y'all to understand that you ain't got to be in that situation, man. She's just a woman. You're a man. You're a man. You're a man. But damn it, act like one. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this Prism of the Ism. And as always, Alpha's up, Beta's down. Peace.